Vetad upanitam me parama prinanam sake tapa yangamam vishvam ete pritu katandulaha. Translation: My dear friend, you have brought this for me. It gives me extreme pleasure. Indeed, these few grains of flat rice will satisfy not only me, but also the entire universe. Purport. So Prabhupada writes in Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is understood from this statement that Krishna, being the original source of everything, is the root of the entire creation, as watering the root of a tree immediately distributes water to every part of the tree. So an offering made to Krishna, or any action done for Krishna, is to be considered the highest welfare work for everyone, because the benefit of such an offering is distributed throughout the creation. Love for Krishna becomes distributed to all living entities. So, the story of, continuing the story of Sudama Brahmana. Sudama was actually very embarrassed to offer the few palmfuls of flat rice. Interesting that the old piece of cloth, Sudama Brahmana, was a Brahmana, and of course we know the story that they went to the ashram of Sandipani Muni. I had the good fortune when we had one meeting in Ujjain, hosted by Bhakti Charanaj. One day he took all the leaders by the bus, and we went to the ashram of Sandipani Muni, which is nearby Ujjain. So you can go there and see a nice place by the river there, and we went walking around everywhere. So Sandipani Muni ashram. So many boys went there. Krishna went there, Balaram went there, and we find here Sudama, and he was a Brahmana by caste, Sudama Brahmana. And they were all good friends. The boys used to play and go in the forest, and actually it is told that one day, I think Krishna recounts, or was it coming up? Krishna recounts the story how one day they were asked by the Guru Patni, the wife of Sandipani Muni, the wife of the Guru. She said, go and to the forest and get some firewood, get some wood, chop some wood, bring it back so we can use for the youngers. So the boys were going out. Now I've heard different versions that it was just Krishna and Sudama, but I also heard other versions that it actually was Krishna, Balaram and Sudama were going out, and they were looking for the wood. But as they came back, huge storm, and this is described here. Huge storm came, wind, thunderstorm, lightning, and heavy rain, heavy rain, and actually everything became flooded. And so the boys climbed up a tree because there was water everywhere. They thought we're going to drown. So they climbed up a tree. So when they climbed up the tree, the water was coming high, but luckily the water didn't come as high. They were going up the branches. From what I read, that Krishna and Balaram were on the lower branch, and Sudama was on a little bit higher branch. But luckily the waters didn't come any higher, but they couldn't get down, so they had to spend the whole night there in the trees because the water was there. Next morning, of course, the Sandipani Muni and all the others there were at the ashram. So the boys haven't come back and the storm has come, who knows. So the next morning, early in the morning, they went looking for it. And very fortunately they found them. Of course, nothing can really happen to the Supreme Personality of God, especially if Krishna and Balaram is there. But one interesting story that perhaps is not so much known is that previously, and this might describe a little bit why Sudama Brahmana was always a little bit poor, or not a little bit, he was very poor, poor Brahmana, very poor Brahmana. And it is described that the Guru Patni, I forget Sandipani Muni's wife's name, but she gave Sudama some chickpeas, chana. She gave him some chickpeas, and she said that if you get hungry, when you're collecting the wood, you can eat the chickpeas with all the others. So when they were in the forest, no one knew about that, only Sudama had a few chickpeas. They had like a little container, a little bag of chickpeas. So when they were in the tree, he was feeling hungry and he began to eat the chickpeas. Now I'm not sure if he just didn't give them to Krishna and Balaram, or Krishna asked, and in a playful mood he said, no, you're not getting any. And so he didn't share the chickpeas. Guru Patni said, share the chickpeas. But even though Krishna Balaram was there and said, asked, we're hungry too, can we have some chickpeas? He said, no. They're all for me. So this was a little bit joking mood. But it is said from that time, because he didn't offer the chickpeas, that he had to suffer some reaction to that. And, one offers to Krishna, one can get all sorts of benefits. But if you don't give to Krishna, then you can undergo the suffering. So this is a story told in the Quran, that he didn't give any chickpeas to Krishna. So then he had the whole life was spent in poverty. But that suited Sudama, because as mentioned, I think in the previous purports, just by quoting from the Acharyas, he was poverty-stricken. He was actually poverty-stricken. Even this flat rice, he had to go, because his wife, they were so poor, sometimes they went without meals. And they were wearing old clothes. Sometimes the clothes were torn, and they had to she had to sew the cloth, and they just keep sewing the same cloth. Even here today, it's mentioned that an old piece of cloth, that when Krishna knew everything, of course, and Sudama had come to offer Krishna all he could, and he actually had to beg for that flat rice. He didn't even have any rice. Now imagine rice is cheap. Anyone can get the rice, but he didn't have any rice, and he had to go asking in charity to get the rice so he could give to Krishna. And then he went, and he was so poor, he went in the old, they were clean clothes, because he's Brahmana. They were clean, but they were old clothes, and it's mentioned here, old piece of cloth. The chipload was in an old piece of cloth. I noted that. It wasn't just a piece of cloth, it was an old piece of cloth. An old piece of cloth. So he had the chip rice in there, the flat rice was in there. But for this reason, it's explained here in the previous purport that actually it suited Sudama Brahmana to be live a life of poverty, because he was adverse. He was very, very advanced actually. He was very devoted to Krishna. He used to play with Krishna and Balaram. And he was very devoted, and it's explained in the previous purport, there are two types of renunciates as far as devotees. One is just neutral to sense gratification, and the other one is really adverse to it, doesn't want anything to do with it. If some sense gratification offers, no, I don't want that thing. He's just averse to it. Don't give me anything. I don't want anything. So that's one type of renunciate. The other one is just neutral. We get something or don't get something. He's not paying any attention to that. He's focusing on Krishna. So, and the examples were given, just like Jad Bharat is an example given here. He was averse to the Jad Bharat later, where he came back in the body of the Brahmana. He was totally repulsed by even the thought. He had Bharat Maharaj became attached to the deer, and then he had to take birth as a deer. So in the next life he wasn't going to make the same mistake. He was born in a Brahmana family, but he just was averse to anything. In fact, he didn't wash himself, and the clothes, even the Brahman thread was black, and he wouldn't learn all these different things. So he was averse. So this example is given, and they called him Jadabara, mad Bharata. He was mad. We can't teach him anything. His father was affectionate to him, but the brothers and that would deride him. And I read one that they used to leave him in the field as a scarecrow. Watching good go plough the field, he would make a mess of that. Do so many things, he would make a mess of that. He just didn't care. He was averse to it. So this is one example. The other example given of Prahlad Maharaj, where he was given by the Supreme Lord in Lord Nrsimha, great opulence. But he was neutral to it. He just took that opulence and used it in the service of Krishna. You all go and see the Nrsimha film?
Yes.
Yeah? I was in Malaysia, in KL. We went to KL, all the devotees. The whole theatre was booked out by the devotees. And we went in KL, and And we watched the Lord Nrsimha film, very nice film, isn't it? Very good depiction of Lord Nrsimha and Prahlad, how what a humble devotee. And then later on, as he was awarded by Lord Nrsimha the kingship of everywhere, but he wasn't affected by all that. So these are two different types of devotees. And Sudama was averse, and simultaneously, as I said, the story was that he didn't offer the chana, the chickpeas to Krishna. So in that way, it kind of tied into his aversion to the sense gratification. Now, this area here is I was just reading this story, it reminded me of some years ago I went on a trip, and a few of us went to Gorka, and then from there we went to Porbanda. Porbanda is when you go there to Gorka, Rukmini Dwarkadish is there on the right on the land, and on there they have a bay Dwarka, they have an island. The original Dwarka, I said, went under the ocean, but they have an island where they've made like a bay Dwarka, a new Dwarka, and because actually Dwarka was on an island. So they have the Dwarka there, Rukmini Dwarkadish is there on that big fabulous temple there. We have also one temple, ISKCON has one temple there. But the famous Rukmini Dwarkadish temple is there, and then you go to the island on the ferry, and it's a replica of the original Dwarka in Krishna's time. So you go there, and then when you can go, you can take the bus. We took the bus down the coast, along the coastline, you can go a place called Porbanda. Now, Porbanda is famous in Indian history as the birthplace of Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi, his place is there, the birthplace. They've done some restoration, I think, everything like that. And one museum is there, and we went to visit that place, the birthplace of Mahatma Gandhi, and the museum there, all the different things of the life of Mahatma Gandhi. But also, before it was called Porbanda, it was actually called Sudamapuri. Sudamapuri, the original name before Porbanda was called Sudamapuri. And so that Sudamapuri means because that is the place of Sudama Brahmana. So when you go to Porbanda, if you ever go, make sure to not only visit the Mahatma Gandhi birthplace, but to go and visit the temple. There's one temple of Sudama Brahmana there. We went there, we went inside, and a nice temple, and it's maintained, and it's a whole area there. You can Google it, and you can see the pictures of the temple of Sudama Brahmana. There's some worship going on there, and so we went there. So the whole town came up from that was a small village at the time of Sudama, and it was named after him because actually we'll read later on and as we go through here that when Krishna took the rice, and then he didn't actually give any charity to Sudama. He just ate the rice. Interestingly enough, and nor did Sudama really think to ask it, because he was asked by his wife to go there. They were living very poorly, and she was preaching to him a little bit. As said, I know that you're very satisfied just to live a very renounced life with not much as far as material possessions, but still we are grihastas, and we have to have sufficiently. We have to, sometimes we're eating, sometimes we're not eating, we don't have enough cloth, we have to have at least sufficiently. She was preaching to him about the duties of a husband in the grihasta life. Many husbands would know about this type of thing, many wives would know about this. What is the duties? The ladies can become very learned about what is the Dharma Shastra and what is the duties of the husband. You're not doing your duty properly, we don't have enough, we have to get more. So she was like that. Although she was a very gentle lady, and she was also very elevated and devotional, but still she saw that something is needed, and they were getting donations from the village people, being Brahmanas, and he would provide services, and it was hardly enough. And so even, as I said, he had to beg some rice to even offer. So he thought that my wife is correct, and then at the same time he was very enthusiastic to see Krishna again. Now, Porbanda, Sudamapuri from Dwarka is not so far these days, but I guess it's about 120 kilometres. So by road, by bus or car, it doesn't take so long. Road is not so bad, at least when I went, wasn't so much traffic, maybe now there's more traffic. It's not a big highway, it is a normal road. But it's not built up, so you can get there fairly quickly. But he would have walked. Sudama would have walked from Sudamapuri, or Banda as it's now called, to Dwarka. So therefore the walking would have taken quite a few days. How much do you average a day? Maybe 20, 30 kilometers. So it took him a few days to arrive there. But you know, it's very interesting when you go to these areas. You can visit all these very holy places. Now a little bit further, maybe a little bit further, 140 km. There's a very famous place. It's called Somnath. Yes. Some of you may be from there. You've been there. That is a very famous temple. Some very beautiful temple. It's been built and rebuilt. It's the place where Lord Chandra came there to worship Lord Shiva. The story is, and it's written there also. Story is that when Chandra was married to, I think it was 27 wives, the daughters of Daksha or something like that. I think it was 27. And he was showing favoritism to one over the others. And so she complained to her father, Daksha, or not she didn't complain, the others complained. So then Daksha told him, don't show favoritism, it's not good. But he continued to do so. So Daksha cursed him, that you'll lose all your opulence, you'll lose your shine as the moon, you'll lose your shine. And he got some sort of disease. He cursed him with a disease. Then, of course, then he started to wane. He lose his brilliance, so he got the disease. And so, but then the Daksha thought that, well, what have I done? Because now the wives have to suffer as well. So then, all right. So he went. Chandra went and worshipped Lord Shiva. Now, one story is that he went here to Somnath, and he prayed to Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva manifests, and that place there inside is what's called a Jyoti Lingam. Jyoti Lingam. Some say originally in India there were like 64 Jyoti Lingams, but now there's Jyoti means light. It's a self-manifested lingam. Self-manifested. It's not made by anyone. Somehow or other, the lingam of Lord Shiva, lingam came there, and there are supposedly 12 Jyoti Lingams around India, Rameshwaram and Bhagvatam, different places around India. These Jyoti Lingams. So it's a very famous temple there. And then he prayed to Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva said, well, Daksha is given a curse. I can't counteract it completely, but I'll bless you that, yes, you will wane, but then half the time you will wane, and then the rest of the time you will wax. And then I will protect you. That's why Lord Shiva has the half moon on his head. You can see the pictures, the paintings of Lord Shiva. He has half moon. And that is the half of the moon. He's saving Chandra. That is very old stories from the Puranas and so on. So, but this is a very, very famous temple. But also in this area, what's very significant, especially for the Vaishnavas, is a very famous place because nearby there is Prabhas Kshetra. Prabhas Kshetra is famous for, you can remember? When the Yadus went there, Lord Krishna had seen bad omens. Bad omens were in and coming, and meteorites and all sorts of things like that, and howling jackals. So he suggested to the Yadus, let us go to the holy place of Prabhas and do some yajna to counteract these evil influences. So they all went there, the whole clan went there, and afterwards they were drinking some rasa, and all of them became a little inebriated. And then by Krishna's arrangement, all this happened. And then some of them between each other made some bad remarks, especially in the battle of Kurukshetra, when one was fighting on the side of the Kauravas and the others on the. So bad remarks, and they fought with each other. There was a curse, there's all these old stories, and they fought with each other, and they all met their demise at this place. You can go to this place, it's called Prabhas Kshetra, nearby Somnath. And nearby there also, in Bhagvatam, very beautiful place, and we went to all this with Bhagvatam. There's a place where Krishna went, and he sat under a pipli tree. remnants of the pipli tree are still there. And today when you go there, there's a nice temple. A nice temple. When he sat there with his legs, one leg over the other leg, I think the left leg over the right leg, right knee. He sat there, it was like a meditation. And Lord Balaram, Krishna and Balaram understood that now Mosala Lila, it was the end of their pastimes had come. So Krishna went there to this place, and Balaram went nearby. He went into a cave and he sat in meditation. He understood the end of the earthly pastimes was coming. And it said in history, you can go to this cave, Balaram, and it said that he went in the cave, he did meditation, and from his meditation, another sage came from his mouth, and then he went into the ocean, into the depths like that, and ended his lila like that. So that place is nearby. And then in this place, there's a beautiful temple there, and one of the only temples where Krishna is sitting back reclining with one leg over the other. He's showing his lotus foot. And nearby, there's a statue of Jara. Jara the hunter. It's a very beautiful temple. Many pilgrims go there, packed, just packed. And that Jara was the hunter. He was in the area. He'd gotten an arrow, and he made that he made that arrow head from the ball that was ground up. That I won't go into the whole history. But then he thought that Krishna's lotus foot was the eye of a deer or something like that. So he was a hunter, and he shot the arrow, and it went into the lotus foot of Krishna. And Krishna arranged all this to wind up his pastimes. Jara, when he came, he was very sorrowful. Now, Jara, it is said that he was the reincarnation of Bali. Lord Ramchandra had killed Bali, and he said, well, in my next incarnation, I killed you now, I'll give you the opportunity, you can kill me. And of course, no one actually can kill Krishna, and no one can kill Ram. But these are just lila. So he told him like that. He said, I killed you now. And of course, Bali was saying, why you killed me just from a distance in a very secret way? No, it is my duty. You were committing offences against your brother and so many other things. So I had to do it. So he explained it. Bali, in the end, he just accepted. He accepted the explanation of Lord Ram and just surrendered to it. And that's when he told him that in the next birth, you will get the opportunity to kill me. Just like in the Jasoda Damodar Leela, when Krishna went to get the butter, and then he went there and broke the pot, and then he was distributing the butter to all the monkeys and some crows also. So it is explained that in the Ram Leela, these monkeys sacrificed so much for Lord Ram. So he told him, in my next incarnation, I'll look after you very nicely. So wherever he went, and not only with Mother Yasoda, he went to other houses as well, stealing the butter. And that butter, he would always call the monkeys and feed the monkeys. So he was looking after the monkeys. So Krishna looks after his devotees. And so this is really the moral of this story. How Krishna was looking after. There was some leela going on that he was, Sudama was living poverty life, but that was his proclivity, that was his nature. He wanted to be like that. But then now he came, and when he came, he was so overwhelmed. Rukmini and Krishna were there, and normally, there's a big palace. Rukmini and Krishna lived in a big. Krishna had so many wives. Each one of them had palace. And she lived in a big palace, and normally there's guards and everything, no one can just go inside. But being a Brahmana, Brahmanas were very respected, he could just come inside. So then immediately Krishna saw him, and he went there and he embraced him, and he sat him down. Rukmini was fanning him, practically they worshipped him. And so so Sudama was very overwhelmed to get the embrace of Krishna. And he almost forgot that to ask for anything and make an offering. Krishna, he wasn't even going to do it. He was embarrassed. As Krishna is mentioned here, he was thinking like the Lord snatched from the Brahmana's garment the grains of flat rice, tied up in an old piece of cloth, and said, "What is this? My friend, you brought this for me? It gives me extreme pleasure. Indeed, these few grains of flat rice will satisfy not only me, but also the entire universe." So Of course, when Krishna is satisfied, everyone is satisfied. What is that story of the Akshaya Patra, where, Duryodhana had arranged, he wanted to give trouble to the Pandavas, so Duryodhana was, so Devasa Muni came to his residence and with 60,000 disciples. And so Duryodhana looked after him very nicely, and he said that you are traveling and you should go visit Yudhisthira. And he knew that Yudhisthira and the Pandava were living in the forest and didn't have much. And he knew they had the Patra. And so then he specifically told them the time. You go at a certain time when he knew that Draupadi was going to eat. So this Patra was given by the sun god, so they produced unlimited quantities of food, as long as Draupadi didn't eat. So he came there all of a sudden, and Devasa with his 60,000 disciples, and of course when the great sage comes, you're a host, you have to greet them, you have to make sure everything's nice for them, you have to give them something to eat, whatever they need. And so they arrived there after Draupadi, so she was crying, what will we do? Devasa is known to be very, he can be very friendly or can be very angry, he's known to curse, maybe he'll curse us, what to do? She was crying, Krishna appeared. He said, what's the problem? Of course he knew everything, and she explained everything. She was crying, oh, don't worry, is there anything left in the plate or the pot? And there was some little grains, and so Krishna just had some grain. And what was the effect? They went down to the river to take their bath, and when they came out from their bath, they were feeling so full. Oh, well, how come we're feeling so full? Maybe it's from the lunch at Duryodhana's or something. We ate too much. But so they said, oh, we better not go back there because they're going to give us a whole big spread. We won't be able to eat anything. We'll commit a great offence. There'll be offence on our part. So they just dressed and left. They did what we call in the Western run. They did a run. And they ran off. So Krishna saved the day. So when Krishna is satisfied, he can do anything. And the whole universe can be satisfied. I was telling last night in the class, and also here yesterday, when I thanked the volunteers, Samo Ham Sabamuti Shunamit Vishoshinam. What is this verse? I heard it from yesterday. Yes, I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. I am equal to all. But whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I am a friend to them. The Prabhupada explains very nicely. That is very natural. Although Krishna is like the rain clouds. They pour over everywhere. The clouds, they pour over the grass, they pour over the field, they pour over the rocks. Doesn't even need, but they pour over the rocks. It pours everywhere. But if someone has devotion, that is on another level. That is not karma. That is not under karma. The rain comes because of the actions of man, doing the proper things in the yajna. But when someone is doing devotion, that's different. And Krishna has a natural inclination to those who render service with devotion. He particularly mentions here, with devotion. He envies no one, he's not partial to anyone, he's equal to all, but someone who renders the service with devotion is a friend. Is in me, I am a friend to them. So he gives specific attention, Prabhupada mentions here in his purport, and it's very natural. I take care of him, whatever his needs. And it is like the jiva, the living entity, in connection with Krishna becomes shining like gold. Shining like gold. And that gold is always attracted to the diamond of Krishna. Prabhupada uses this in a very nice analogy. Krishna is the diamond. And when the gold of the jiva is shining brightly, the diamond is attracted to the gold, and the gold is attracted to the diamond, and then the diamond comes in the gold. And the diamond shines nicely, and the gold shines nicely, and both of them together look very beautiful. So this is the relationship. So when one does some nice service for Krishna, not only they are benefited, I was saying last night, in class last night I was giving, that so many are benefited. All is benefited. Krishna can satisfy the whole universe. And specifically, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur also mentioned in the Bhagvatam, there's different explanations of this. It's up to Krishna. It can be many, not only you're benefited for doing the service, your whole family gets benefit. Krishna's so happy. If someone does something, You know, say you come and you do something for a very important man. They're so happy. Oh, look, whatever you want. And as a matter of fact, whatever your whole family wants. You know, you need a new car, you got a car. Cars for the whole family. It can be like that. Someone is rich, got so much money, he's so happy with you. You know, you want a car, your son wants a car, everyone can have it. Right? They can say like that. Everyone can have it. And not only that, all your uncles and aunts, they can all have it. So if you're Krishna, then there can be many generations that have been going past and going in the future. And so Srila Bhaktisiddhanta said, can be 30 generations in the future. I love the Krishna. You can make it 10, make it 15, make it 30, and also in the past. What about your ancestors in the past? Maybe they're suffering somewhere. And Krishna is all. He's so happy with the devotee doing some service. Yeah, it frees them. Oh, they're free. There, that's it. That's it for them. They're free. I'm freeing them. They're out. And not only that, whoever comes in the future, they'll also be. So, such is so even the littlest thing, especially if one becomes pure devotee, oh, Krishna's so happy. So when you make Krishna happy, just like now is Radharani's month. Radharani, Kartik month, and the start of this month, where was I? I was the new governor. Krishna Saradiya Rasayatra, the full moon of the month of Sharad. So on that full moon, of course, there's nice Rasalila. Why does Radharani? She likes especially the Rasalila dancing and so many other wonderful pastimes in this month. So she's very dear to Krishna. So this is her month. And so someone who does service to in this month, Radharani becomes very pleased. And so when Radharani becomes pleased, automatically Krishna becomes very pleased. It is said next month, Maghashisha, that is Krishna's favorite month. But because this is Radharani's favorite month, in one sense, actually, this is also Krishna's favorite month. So that's why in this month, it is said that you can do charity in this month and you get some benefit, maybe in this life, maybe in the next life. But if you do some charity, you do something in this month, rather, if you do it outside of this month, you get some benefit. If you do it in this month, you can get hundreds of times more benefit. But if you do bad things this month, you get 100 times worse. You have to be careful. So many devotees have gone there to bring down and everything like that, to do some seva and glorify Srimati Radharani in her favourite month, Kartik. So you please Radharani, automatically Krishna is going to be pleased. When Krishna is pleased, you'll be so happy. Both will glitter, the gold and with the diamond inside. You're the gold and Krishna's the diamond. Both together look very wonderful. So Hare Krishna, thank you very much for coming to the Srimad Bhagvatam class. Has anyone got any questions or comments in regard to the class today? Questions? Yes.
Sudama did not want to give Krishna, or Krishna forcibly. So how do you understand our devotion like
Yeah, he was embarrassed to give it. And not only that, but the thing is that because it was he was asking for some material benefit, so he was very embarrassed. But Krishna sees the devotion, and so Krishna, when he forcefully took it, he was acknowledging Sudama's devotion, even though he knew everything that the wife had asked him. But it was in accordance with religious principles in the part of the Brahmana life. They should be looked after very nicely. So Krishna satisfied the wife's desire, and he satisfied as far as the material benefits. He didn't give anything to Sudama right then and there, which is a bit unusual. Generally, when the Brahmana comes, and the kings would give. Krishna at that time was playing the part of the king. The Brahmanas come and they would give in charity right then and there. But Sudama was so overwhelmed next day, he didn't even think about that. He didn't even want to give it. Krishna snatched it. So he was happy that Krishna took it. He was embarrassed on one side, but happy. Of course, when he went back to the village, then he couldn't even recognize it. The whole thing was transformed into a beautiful city, and his wife came out to greet him with a garland, and these descriptions are coming up. And she would be dressed before and really looking niggly and with raggedy clothes and everything. She comes up looking like the Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune. Who's this coming here with a garland? She didn't recognise her. Who's this lady coming with a garland? He didn't even recognise her. She was all beautiful, all done nicely. Before she was just very simple, all very beautiful. And then he looked around, the whole village was transformed. So he got somebody with it he could understand. So Krishna has many ways of dealing with the devotees. And he likes to show the world how devotees act also. Even, a normal person, you go to see someone like Krishna, and then you want something, and then you don't get anything. Maybe if you're very low class, then maybe you think you didn't give me anything. What type of person you are? Came all the way here, walked all the way here. All right, I'm fat, right, but you're the king. I'm a Brahmin. You didn't give me a thing. And then you start saying bad things about Krishna. Krishna's a this and that. So it can be like that. But of course Krishna knew Sudama's not like that. So Krishna uses these leelas to teach us also that just see, Sudama didn't actually get anything immediately from Krishna. And so how he acted, he was just an ecstasy. He didn't even ask, he didn't even think to ask. He just left there, but in ecstasy, thinking of how Krishna embraced him. Krishna embraced him. And he knew he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He wasn't thinking he's the king. He knew. He knew even as a boy he actually knew. So he knew the position of Krishna. And so he was much in ecstasy. So God embraces you. So you've got everything. God wants to push you away. Of course, he's a father. And sometimes as the father, he gives, sometimes he takes away. Daddy, give me more ice cream. No, you've had enough. You become sick. You become sick if you eat more ice cream. No, Daddy, I'll give you, please, no. No, you're not going to get it. No, you're bad, Daddy. Child may say like that, I hate you, you're bad, Daddy. I want a better Daddy. Gives me ice cream non-stop. So Krishna's not like that. Krishna, he just that's why some many go to the other deities, they're more free giving. But and some they know that Krishna, sometimes he doesn't give, and I'll go to Ganesha, he's more, he's got the reputation of just giving. But it's the best for you. Just like the father is always thinking what is the ultimate welfare of the child. And so that's how Krishna acts. Krishna was acting with Sudama like that, and showing an example how devotees behave, even in the adverse situations. They didn't get what they expected, but Sudama thought, I got more than I expected. So there's many things to be learned from this particular pastime. All right, any other questions? Yes.
Maharaj, you know how Sudama didn't give the chickpeas to Krishna? Didn't give the chickpeas to Krishna? Yes, so he had to suffer.
Oh, yeah, before, yeah.
So he had to suffer some poverty. So what happened if Sudama did give Krishna the chickpeas?
That didn't happen, so I can't speculate. Who knows what would have happened? Krishna would have been very happy because he was feeling very hungry. But he didn't give the chickpeas. And therefore we had to get, I would assume, I'm not saying for sure, that so much benefit would have been there for him even on the material side of things. But we don't know for sure because he didn't give it. But generally, as I said, Krishna's a father, he can give so much, he's very happy. But Krishna didn't think much of it, but he just took advantage of that whole situation because Sudama was averse to actual sense gratification. So we don't know for sure. But it's better to give to Krishna and not hold back. That's the general principle. Don't hold back the chickpeas. Very good question. Okay. Oh, yeah.
Thank you very much for all the questions. As you're mentioning about the glories of the Kartik month, in the start, glories of the Kartik month.
Oh, the Kartik.
Yeah, like when during the start of this month, we all devotees we make some moves or goals, what we can do. So how to maintain that? Like for example, for me I'm lacking in reading. So in this month,
You're doing that?
lacking in reading, this much time I want to read Prabhupada books.
Oh, yes.
So this month, but how to maintain that goal?
Oh, you have to have a vow. You have to have determination. Don't make a vow if you think you can't do it. You took the vow for the whole month?
Yes.
Ah, well, very good. It's so hard to read 12 months books. Is that what your vow was?
I mean like I want to keep a time period.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I want to go going forward as well.
Yeah.
Like normally I do 30 minutes, 1 hour. So now I increase. So I just want to go forward, going forward. The whole.
So you make a plan. So Krishna is very, well, I've read this in commentaries by acharyas as well, that when we become the body, we have to make a plan how to become more advanced in Krishna consciousness. So we make a plan. Prabhupada gives us original plan, and then you have to chant your 16 rounds, and when you get initiated, chant to see, follow the regular print, do the seva, all these. And he's given an outline, plan of devotional activity. But if you want to do extra things, so Prabhupada has given us how to do it. But if you want to do extra things, which is good, especially in the Kartik month and these types of holy, Janmashtami or something like that, you want to do something extra. That's very good. So you make a plan. So you want to read, so you make a plan. You make, okay, this time of the day, and you just try it with determination and to remain fixed. You practice your Krishna consciousness very nicely. And I'm sure that if you follow that plan, all right, my plan was I'm going to stick to it. Let not be distracted. But nevertheless, if you can't you can't fulfill it totally, still you try. The Krishna is happy you try. But think about it very carefully when you take the vow. And if you want to make a vow, and Krishna knows, then you can do it. He's happy you made a vow and you tried to do it. And he's very happy if you took the vow and you didn't follow the whole thing. So just stick to the plan. You have to have a little bit of determination. Determination comes automatically from following the process of Krishna consciousness. Make sure you're chanting coming every day, doing the kirtan, all these things. This will give you more and more enthusiasm to follow your plan. Read about others who have done these bratas before. These devotees, this will encourage you. Many devotees do bratas. So many bratas you can do in the Kartik month. All right. All glories to Prabhupada ki jai.